How are you all doing? Not tired or hot? Okay, so this session is turn your product into a growth machine, PLG growth strategies, and basically a little bit about me. I'm Shubham, co-founder of Quest. It was very hard to pick three things that I love, but it's biryani, salsa, and soccer. And I have a lot of engineering experience. I worked at LinkedIn, Epic, Amazon, and other companies before. But who cares about this? So let's just directly jump onto what we are here for. So PLG, product-led growth, is, how many of you guys know about product-led growth? Okay. I guess rest of you guys were not listening carefully in Yun's talk, because she talked about product-led growth a little bit. She said bottoms-up approach and tops-down approach. PLG is more, I would say in most cases, more bottoms-up, right? So in previous decades, it used to happen that, you know, a guy who is sitting on top of the chart is like, yes, this is what we'll use. This is the blue jeans or software that we'll use for meeting, and everyone is using it. But then the new set of products came in, which are so user-friendly that people are like, oh, I love Zoom. This is what I'm going to use. It doesn't matter what, you know, my VP says or whatnot. I'm just going to use this. I worked at LinkedIn, and LinkedIn, obviously, Microsoft owns it. And can anyone guess what messaging software did we use? Teams. Slack. And which video conferencing software did we use? Now you got it. You guys are smart. So yes, exactly. That's the thing. Like we want to use products which are so user friendly and so good that we enjoy using that. And that's why over last 10 years, 20 years, you see that product-led growth is next level famous now. Like now we see incumbents, which are Zoom and all these companies that we talked about. These are billion-dollar companies, and this at some point used to be product-led growth. At some point used to be a competitive advantage, but now, as I see, it's actually a disadvantage if you don't have a good product-led growth strategy, a good product which users are delighted by to use. So we have actually divided it into three main categories. The first one is understanding and mapping the customer journey. The second is identifying and anticipating drop-offs and building the right PLG infrastructure and team, right? We'll go into them one by one. Understanding and mapping the customer journey. So in the first talk, this is the reason I came third, because in the first talk, you guys heard a little bit about sales, then GTM. So this is traditional B2B sales, where we talk to people. We're like, hey, you know, buy our product, blah, blah, blah. They're like, okay, sure, talk to us for another 6 months, then we'll decide. But product-led growth is actually very different. People who really want to use that product, the designers or the developers who actually will use the product, this bottoms-up funnel, they use it. And once they love it, they actually recommend up top. So I'll take a real life example. Let me be clear, I don't hate the first one. I just really love the second one, right? We do both, right? So in the second one, it's basically like I go to a restaurant, right? And I've heard so much about this restaurant, and like this is the best food and this and that. And when I go there, I actually don't like their food. And this is the mismatch expectation that we see a lot in marketing or in sales. But in product-led growth, product qualified leads, they have used it. They like it and they're using it again and again, so you can upsell them. So the conversion rates are extremely high. Then identifying and anticipating drop-offs. So I'll actually a little bit talk about what are the different steps in product-led, right? So one is acquisition, activation, conversion, retention, and expansion, right? So acquisition is basically you make some viral content or you add virality loops in your product. For example, Calendly. If I'm sending someone my Calendly, they know about Calendly because I'm sending it like to schedule that meeting, right? So that is in-app virality, having watermarks and all that stuff. Content, creating content to such a level that people are loving the content and just coming to you. All of this is acquisition, acquiring customers. And then integration is basically integrating into other products, like how a lot of developer companies do, right? So that's that example. Product-led activation, I'm going to skip because we are going to double down on this. Third is product-led conversion. If in the previous days, if I really like the product, if I want to buy it, there's no option to buy it. I really have to go through the sales process, talk to everyone, and then buy it. I have the credit card, I'm ready to pay, use the product. Why not just make it self-serve? So that is what this product-led conversion says. PQLs is product qualified leads, which means that if the people are already loving your product, if they're already using your product, that just gives much more opportunity for us to actually upsell them. And those are product qualified leads. Pricing, basically having different tiers, understanding different things, and setting the right price for the right audience, for the right features, so that you can optimize for your revenue. Because we want to give value to the world, but all we care about is at the end of the day revenue, right? Or profits. And then product-led retention is habit building. They are coming to the product again and again. They're loving the product. They can't live without the product, right? That level of habit building right now, either, hey, like we see push notifications or emails, you haven't used this product for last week or two. You want to just spin it up, just give it a try, like all different kinds of nudges, feature adoption things, and cross-sell and upsell becomes much easier. And expansion also includes referrals and all these things. Share with friends, you'll get $5 off, whatnot. So one thing, now let's go double down into product-led activation. The first one is aha moment. Basically what you want to be able to do is that you want to make sure that everyone is getting to the aha moment of your product like this instantly, right? And there is no one aha moment of a product. There are multiple aha moments. When I register, I try basic setup, I use one or two features, and I'm like, oh, damn, this is so good. And then I invite a team member, and then the team aha moment, oh, this is actually increasing our collaboration to next level. And then you go and then you advocate, and then you are like, hey, can we, like, you talk with the team, and then you upsell it to your VPs and stuff, that can we buy it? And then you buy it and you realize, oh damn, as this paid project is next level. And then you become a paid customer, and then you find paid aha moments. So all these, you have to optimize for these aha moments so that they're getting it instantly. So that is one of the major activations that you should focus on. And the second one is multi-channel approach. One of the things that I'm talking about is product-led growth as a go-to-market strategy, not product-only growth. What that means is, like, this is an example of Airtable's activation toolkit. They had product onboarding, assistance, emails, community, and a bunch of different stuff, which actually gets more insights from the product. If people are coming in, so for example, you made 5 features in your product, right? And people are using this one feature like so much, 80-90% of the time, right? And now you can go back to your marketing and sales team, and you can tell them that, hey, make the messaging according to this, because this is what people are using. When you say product led, it just amplifies the authenticity and the power that actual users are using this. So make the messaging like this, target this type of user. So that's why the activation toolkit, if it is product led, that is 100% much better. Let's just put it that way. And we'll talk more about activation toolkit as well. It includes a lot of things, how to do better onboarding, better adoption, retention, everything have multiple toolkits, but we'll talk about it. The third point was building the right PLG infrastructure and team. What is product-led growth? The way we see it, it's basically data-driven growth, right? So I'm not going into this complex stuff, but what you can figure out is what you need to do is collect, analyze data, what is working for people, what are they enjoying, what are they using within the product, and just amplify that, right? Double down on that. And that's why you have to find the right PLG tool stack, and like there are, for all these different things, there are different tools, hundreds of tools, thousands of tools. And the second part is like making the right set of team which can focus on product-led growth. And it actually is very horizontal. It's not a separate vertical which comes in that we are product-led growth team. No, they work. If you can see, they work with product, they work with marketing, they work with revenue, they work with everyone. This is the PLG horizontal org which works for your growth, working with product-led. And I will take it one step further, and I'll say that it's not just about making the right team, even the mindset needs to be product-led. We have heard about data-driven mindset. This is actually one step beyond that, which is product-led plus data-driven mindset. Think about maximizing the use of the product, because that's where you're going to get your money, right? Even if you make a product which people are not using but paying you money, you might not be that happy. But if people are using it, if people are giving you active feedback and loving the product, that's what we all want. And yes, if you can't do all of that all by yourself, then that's where we are here for. And you can turn your product into an intelligent growth flywheel, growth machine with Quest Adoption Toolkit, right? And we have a bunch of pre-built SDK components, like a lot. All the things that we talked about, onboarding, adoption, retention, expansion, we have built in the tools for that, and you can use it. These are some of the examples. This is basically a dashboard. It's not just about having the tools to put it in to quickly spin up your website or your platform. It's also about being able to get the right set of insights later on. We help do all of that for you. We help analyze the data so that you can do the product-led growth that you deserve and the revenue that you can get, that you can unlock, right? You can see there's a bunch of stuff here and bunch of integrations and a lot of stuff that we do. So can I get those printouts, please? Yeah. So these are 10 PLG principles that I'm not gonna go into, but there are a couple of printouts that I took. This is kind of your homework, I'm sorry. So you can look into this, and these are the principles that you can actually read more about. And if you guys have any questions at any point in time, would be more than happy to discuss further and how to implement it each step of day. But yeah, and get started with your PLG journey today. This QR code is a surprise. I don't know where it goes to. So you guys should try it out and let me know where it goes. Questions? Awesome. At least I'll have one LinkedIn request, I guess. Any questions, anyone? Oh yeah. Actually, sorry. I have a little bit of demo if you guys want to see. So these are basically different sets of components that we have. I'll just this is like the onboarding component. Like this is the piece of code that you just copy paste, and then from here you can easily change whatever you want to change. Feedback workflow. It will come from the left hand side, but just quickly, and you can edit. You can just basically edit all these questions in a no-code manner. So yeah, that's kind of pretty much it. Yes, please go ahead.
So can you give me an example of how you integrate in my tools? Like what I see is a bunch of UI components that
Correct.
you can integrate for giving a functionality of my app that I don't have to build and you guys maintain. That's the value proposition.
Correct. So basically now think of it like this. A lot of think of Figma, right? Have you used Figma?
Yep.
Okay, so when you go into Figma, and imagine as soon as you come into Figma, there is this page where there are hundreds of options and you don't know how to use what, right? And Figma also doesn't understand which type of user entered. What is he looking like? Figma doesn't have any information about you, right? What we do is, using our components, using our AI, what you can do is, first of all, probe some questions during onboarding, right? Why are you here? What do you want to do? Then have a get started checklist, for example, that, try this first. All those walkthroughs is another example. And basically what our goal is, that understand the intent of the user really well. Why is he here? What is the next step in his intent? And then probe you to go to next aha moment. Probe you to do next aha moment. Our goal is to make sure that a user who has entered is able to reach their aha moment as fast as possible. And we, with our integrations, with our components, and with the help of our AI on top of those, we have customer 360, obviously on top of that we have the AI, you'll be able to do that. Make sense?
Maybe at the end we have a conversation.
Yeah. And if you want to see,
I want to know a specific use case. You want to know about a specific use case.
Yeah. Onboarding is another use. For example, Persona, the first presentation, if you should go try out their platform. Once you try out their platform, you'll see like the onboarding, the feedback, all of these things is actually, we have partnered with them, and they probably are getting a lot of insights.
Yeah. So it's basically, if I don't have onboarding on my application, so whatever service I have on internet,
Yeah.
so you guys come and then you build the onboarding of sign up my customers.
Yeah.
And it is customizable.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's an
You
SDK.
provide dashboard to see,
Yes.
walk
Yes.
through the onboarding.
Yes, you can see the customer journey, you can activate the customer journey, you can ask questions through our dashboard like, why are my users churning so much in week 4? It'll tell you, hey, because XYZ reason. And then you're like, how can I fix it? And then it'll tell you that this is how you can fix it, and you can activate it right in your product using our SDK without any developer. And the main goal is basically to reduce, not to remove, reduce the time to ship, the cost of developers and data teams that you guys that we have. Because now PLG and this delightful experience, the personalization, is actually a must-have for everyone, thanks to the standards that have been set by the incumbents that are there, right? And the vision that we have is basically, for example, if you love marshmallows, right? And if you enter a candy store and you tell that this is what I like, the entire candy store is going to change according to you, based on the integrations that you do with us. We have feature flags, we have SDK components, we have a lot of stuff, and the entire candy store is going to change, and marshmallows are going to come forward. The things you don't like, peanuts is going to go back, no Snickers at all. So that is kind of the level of personalization that we want to establish without putting in too much dev or data teams effort or cost. Make sense? It is basically, it is available in headless as well. So we have Node SDK, but we have React SDK, we have React Native SDK. So sorry, what? I couldn't hear you. Webhooks, yeah, of course, yeah, you have all that.
So how are you different than Frigate and Dopt?
So Frigate and Dopt are definitely, if you are asking that question, they are one of our competitors, and they do certain specific. Dopt does onboarding, that's it, right? We have a bunch of components. The one thing that why we think that this is the right path is basically we want these components to be actually dynamically talking to each other, right? So if it's not just onboarding, it's not just your like for example Dopt, if you're using Dopt, they have onboarding components, that's it. So what happens after once the user is here, like what to do after that? Like they won't help you. You have to,
use June.so.
I mean, you might want to use other tools for different things, but they're not talking to each other, right? Our goal is that we, at every step, if we know that the user reached first aha moment, how can they reach second? How can they reach third? What is the next thing? Right? How can I make this user such a loyal advocate that he goes in and does free marketing for us?
So are you advocating that your product is a replacement for also a mixed panel and amplitude and June?
We actually integrate with mixed panel, amplitude, and all that stuff.
Implement with June as well?
June is not in the integrations yet, but maybe in future if people are asking for it, we'll integrate it. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So how would you resolve any conflicts according to the user preferences? For example, if you take the example of marshmallow and
Off?
marshmallows.
Marshmallows, okay.
So let's say a bunch of users come
Huh.
and say I like this in the marshmallow, and a bunch of users comes and say I like this in the marshmallow. Now the product is one. So is your product going to customize that for different set of users? They will release different things.
Yeah. So basically think of it like this, when people are coming to the product or the website, they're coming from their own phone or their own laptop, right? It's their own instance channel. So for every user, it will be a different path. It's not just that all of them will be, if all of them use one laptop, all of them cannot log in one laptop, right? So that's why it's really different parallel channels interacting with the product.
Thank you, Shubham.
Thank you, everyone.